You're listening to Health Professional Radio. My name is Wayne Bucklar, and my guest today is Shane Neaves. Shane's the CEO of Peninsula Village Ltd at Umina Beach, and he joins us from north of Sydney there in Australia. Shane, welcome to Health Professional Radio.
Thank you, Wayne.
Now, Shane, tell us a little bit about Peninsula Village and what it is you do, and also where you are, because I think you're in a particularly nice part of the world.
Yes, we're in one of God's waiting rooms, as they may call it. Umina Beach is up on the central coast between probably Gosford, coming inland to the sea area of about Gosford way to Umina Beach at Woy Woy. We're on a peninsula, so it's a lovely part of the world. Peninsula Village is a not-for-profit, community-owned aged care facility. Have been operating for about 45 years. We have 283 residents in care, and we have about 145 independent living units across a couple of sites up here at Umina Beach.
Now that's quite a big establishment, I would have thought.
Yes, we'd be the largest employer on the Woy Woy Peninsula, so we employ about 305 staff. Mm-hmm. So we are the largest employer, and strange to say, most of the residents that reside here or live independently, probably 95% of them are from the local area, so we're very community-minded, and or their siblings live up this way, so that's why they've come up to Peninsula Village. So the other thing that's probably a little bit unique for us is that we offer what I'd call tri-level care, so we offer 3 levels of care, so you can come into independent living, then you can age in place, and then we have our high care facility for palliative care, those sort of things. So once you're here with us, you don't necessarily have to move facility, and you get to know the staff, and we've got some residents that have been here for quite some time with us that have found it worthwhile being involved in a community-owned facility.
That's one of the extraordinary things about aged care from at least a nursing perspective, which is my background, is that, historically in nursing, you kind of turn patients over. They come and they go, and when you work in aged care, they come.
Look, Wayne, it's fair to say that, some people that are independent make the decision, and they're usually, lost their partner and make the decision to come into our independent living units and last for a fair time, and we're seeing the current trend is that, of course, people are living in their houses longer than coming to us in their later years, and they're not residing with it as long as they once did. Mm-hmm. So that's a definitely trend that's happening within the aged care sector, that people are, it's the government's agenda is to keep you in your home longer. So
Now, Shane, many of our audience are clinicians of one kind or another. Mm-hmm. We get something like 100,000 people listening, and 95% of them are clinicians, often in acute care in the hospital setting, but also a lot in aged care, and some GPs and people in consulting rooms in the middle. Okay. Is there a message you'd like to hear them to hear today as a result of having heard you on the radio?
Well, I think the GPs that actually come here are very supportive, and we welcome that. Not all the GPs want to have a presence in the aged care sector, but the ones that support us do. I suppose the other thing that we have invested in is we have a nurse practitioner that sort of works as a registrar, as you might say, in the acute sector. So our nurse practitioner works in conjunction with the GPs, which makes their job, I think it'll make their job a little bit easier, because our nurse practitioner can do some scripts, can order some blood tests, x-rays, those sort of things, has a high proficiency, which can greatly assist the GP. The other thing that we've done with Central Coast Health, or Gosford Public Hospital, is we've set up a transition type program. So we have 6 beds here that are used by Central Coast Health for long-term residents that may need respite care or transitional care that are looked after here by our local GPs and a nurse practitioner. So our linkage with the acute care sector is quite important to us.
Yeah, that's going to take a lot of strain off the acute care sector, I would have thought, having beds like that available. Yeah.
And look, we're lucky that we've got a nurse practitioner, and I think that does assist us in reducing the number of residents that we have to transfer to the acute sector for interventions or falls or antibiotics, where we can do that in-house. So especially when you we specialise in dementia. We've probably got nearly 60 beds that are dementia specific. So with those residents that have a dementia that then have a fall and end up in the A&E, it's not the most pleasant experience. So we try and reduce that.
And there does come an age when even a night in hospital is a very disorientating experience. Of
course. And I think that's one of the keys why we've got our nurse practitioner is about reducing emissions to the A&E. I mean, if they've got to go, they've got to go. Don't get me wrong, but we have a mobile X-ray service. We've got very, very diligent pathology, those sort of things. So it does help to reduce the transfers. And at the same time, it allows our registered nurses to keep their skills.
Yes, and that's an important thing to do too.
Yeah, because we can give IVs. We can, once they're ordered, those sort of things, we can do a bit more than the average aged care facility because we've got the skilled staff to do it. And I think if we look at it from a normal point of view, the loved ones quite like the idea that they know they're getting looked after and the doctor's involved, and we don't need to have the trauma of them going to the acute setting.
Yes. If you just joined us on Health Professional Radio, you're listening to a conversation with Shane Neaves. Shane's the CEO at Peninsula Village Ltd, and we've been talking about the care opportunities that Peninsula Village provide. And my name is Wayne Bucklar. Shane, in every enterprise, in every undertaking, there are always misconceptions, and it's my favourite question in interviews. What's the biggest misconception amongst your customers, clients, patients, residents? What's the biggest misconception that keeps you awake at night?
I think it's fair to say that the aged care sector isn't seen to be sexy, for want of a better word. Look, the reality of life is that here at Peninsula Village we have a bit of it's your life, your choice, our community. So we're trying to look after locals. If we're very practical about it all, there's not many people that get discharged to home. Most people get discharged to a higher authority, as I say. We deal quite well in allowing people to have their choice. And I think the important thing that we try and do here is make sure that all of our residents that are coming into care have an advanced life care plan, and we actually sit down and talk to the family about their end-of-life wishes. So really what we're trying to do is prepare the individual for the ultimate and help them enjoy their later years. So that's sort of a philosophy that we've got around our care model, and we try and be proactive in that. And they're here for a good time,
Yes.
It's no fault of their own that either they've had a stroke or they can't look after themselves. And the idea is that we should provide the necessary care and help them to see out their later years. And I think the perception out there, Wayne, is that a lot of people don't know what actually goes on in aged care. I mean, we have a lot of linkages with kids club, primary schools, secondary schools, men's shed, the Rotary clubs. They're all very proactive. We have 100-odd volunteers that come in, so it is a village life, and they're active players in the community, and we like to keep them in touch with their community.
And as you say, many people may not know what goes on in aged care, but with the ageing of the population, I think in the next few years we'll see that change quite dramatically.
Yes, and we'll see demands and different demands placed on us by those people coming through.
The baby boomers have never gone quietly.
No, and they'll be well informed. And I think, it'll be a different marketplace and different needs from those clients. Because we're basically still dealing with a lot of people that have lived through the depressions and the wars, and therefore they're not, their expectations and demands aren't as high as I think will happen in the near future. Yeah,
the baby boomers have been a very privileged generation and have managed to live through an age of very much getting everything they asked for. So it'll be an interesting time to see how they go in aged care.
Yeah, and true that, the government agenda is, keep you in your home longer and not fund residential care as well as they have been. So the funding mechanism that changed on the 1st of July 2014 with income-tested fees and those sort of things definitely sees it changing.
Well, it'll be an interesting time ahead. Shane, it's been a pleasure chatting to you with Health Professional Radio. I do thank you for making your time available to us.
That's right. Pleasure, Wayne.
Now, if anyone's listening and would like to know more about Peninsula Village, you can head off to www.peninsulavillage.com.au, all one word, and you'll be able to get in touch with Shane through that website. You can also hear our interview again. We have an audio archive on both YouTube and SoundCloud, and there's a transcript as well on our website at www.hpr.fm. You're listening to Wayne Bucklar. Thank you for joining us on Health Professional Radio.